Anna from NHCSR here. I'm an entomologist and I work with growers of fruits and vegetables to manage their major problems. And there are very few situations where pest insects are really driving the ship. Most of the time, people are more worried about nutrition, labor, a lot of other things before they're worried about insects, with a few exceptions. And I would think that spotted winged drosophila attacking small fruit is one of those things where SWD, it's driving the ship. That is how bad this invasive pest is on these small fruits. So when I first moved to New Hampshire, started work at the University of New Hampshire where there is a kiwiberry breeding program, my alarm bells went off, excitement alarm bells, to find out that there is this fruit crop that is resistant to SWD infestation. Now there's a caveat here. Kiwiberry is harvested before it ripens. Any soft skinned fruit is susceptible to SWD because it comes with specialized lady parts that allow her to saw into the skin of soft fruits. So kiwiberry, if it's harvested before it's ripe, it is resistant to SWD. I had a conversation with Will Hastings, who was a critical part of the Kiwiberry breeding program, and we had a little data collection that I wanted to share with him. This was not a complete data set. We were kind of discussing whether or not there was a need to continue this quick and dirty assessment. I was sharing some data with him. I thought I would share it with you, but I would say in the long run, this is a very long way to confirm something that the folks who work with Kiwiberry already know, that you're not going to have a lot of problems with spotted wing Drosophila pressure in Kiwiberry. So listen in. We did not repeat this in the second year.
Correct.
Or we didn't do it consistently. This was just 2020. So these are just some quick and dirty things. So there is a farm site that was growing a small planting of this.
Yep.
We were able to collect fruit from that farm site as well as Woodman Farm. So these show what we call pest pressure. And this would be adults that were captured in one of those drowning solutions. So it was like a standard trap that has a lure and soapy water underneath. So you'll see like pest pressure at the commercial farm was obviously a lot lower because they manage this pest, where it's really through the roof at Woodman Farm. So like 700 versus 770. Something else I did was take a subsample and dissect them to see if they were reproductively mature. Because around October, November, they start going into a reproductive diapause or quiescence, depending on how you look at it. And so by the time you get to about November, even if those flies are flying around, they're not laying eggs.
Can we back up to pest pressure?
Yeah.
These data were collected within blueberry plots or just on farm?
In kiwiberry plots.
This was in kiwiberry.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so we had a lot of kiwiberry.
Yeah. So this...
Or a lot of SWD flying
Oh my
around
goodness,
in kiwiberry.
yes. So both of these farm sites, not only did they have kiwiberry growing, but they have a lot of other fruit growing, right?
Sure,
so,
yeah.
The kiwiberry at Woodman Farm is right next to blueberry. There's a lot of wild hosts. So there's, all sorts of fruiting wild hosts. This commercial farm was like a pick your own farm that had, the smorgasbord of raspberries, blueberries, everything. Yeah. But they do manage this pest. So you'll see that the pest pressure would be a little bit lower in that spot. So what I did, I actually hung sentinel raspberries in the kiwiberry plot at Durham, right? So I went to the grocery store, I bought raspberries, examined a good portion of them under a microscope to make sure that there was nothing in them already, and hung them like in little cups. Right. So every week here I went to the grocery store, got fresh raspberries, hung them, just to say like, across the board, you're going to get, infestation. There's a big dip here just because the weather was really good. It was really good flying conditions. Right? So there's going to be a lot of flies flying around there. So, and this is basically just to say like pest pressure was high during this time. And so here are fruit samples that were taken. I think this is fruit samples from both the commercial farm and from Woodman Farm. And again, like this looks to me like preliminary data. I would have liked to repeat this to make it like a publishable unit, but I think it tells the story that you and Dr. Hill were saying was like, this is a non-issue because like if you look at unripe kiwiberry, you're not pulling anything out of that fruit, where raspberry picked during that same period of time, like between August and October, flies are leaping out of it, like they love it.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
So pokeweed, dogwood fruit, these are all alternative hosts that have been indicated as being a problem. So that kind of tells the story. Another thing I did, and I don't know if this is valuable or not, was looking at ripeness levels. So you did collect some fruit that like was of varying ripeness levels for me, and we did penetrative force just as a measure of how soft the fruit was. And you can definitely see that relationship demonstrated, that like if it was ripe, it had flies in it. If it was not ripe, it didn't have flies in it, right?
Yep.
Pretty straightforward. So yeah, I don't know. It's not a surprise, but what do you think?
Oh, I think it's very interesting to see this data
Okay.
actually in front of us. It would be nice to repeat this study
Yeah, and be more
a
thoughtful
few different
about it,
times.
especially if we had a little bit more information about like the varieties that are most likely to be adopted.